So the next disease we're going to cover is known as al-ghish, which means to cheat. Now, if I was to ask every single one of you, define for me what cheating is, you're all probably going to give me a slightly different answer. But the Islamic definition is very precise. And from it, you're going to know exactly what counts as this disease and exactly what doesn't count as this disease. And some of you who once thought that maybe you didn't have this disease have it, and vice versa, you might have thought you don't have it, but you actually do. You see? Cheating as a disease is when you hide a harm from someone, either in a matter to do with the Deen or a matter to do with the Dunya. And this act of hiding can be done by any means. So for example, by beautifying something that has no benefit as a benefit when it's actually a harm, for example, or by literally straight up lying about something or deceiving someone to harm someone in a specific way. If this cheating happens in a matter to do with the Deen or the Dunya, both of these things classify as the disease. Now, when it comes to matters to do with the Dunya, what are some examples that we can give of this? One time, the Prophet Muhammad, he was walking through the marketplace and he stopped by a man who was selling some corn, okay? And he put his hand inside of the basket of corn and he pulled out a bunch of wet corn from the bottom when everything on the top seemed to be dry. So the Prophet ﷺ, he asked the man, "What is this?" And then he said, "Ya Rasulullah, this corn was drenched by the rain." And so the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Why didn't you put this wet corn on the top of the food so that people can see it?" And then he said the famous words, وَمَنْ غَشَّنَا فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا. Whoever cheats us is not of us. SubhanAllah, very strong wording. And this is the scary reality of having this disease, because if you have it, it pushes you further and further away from the path of Islam. The point is that because this businessman, he beautified his product by hiding a defect in it, this classes as the disease of cheating. Because he's beautified a benefit when there's no benefit, in fact, there's a harm, you see? So this is where the nuance comes in. Another example of cheating, which is a modern day example that all of you guys can kind of understand, especially in the West, is when you, for example, work in a corporation 9 to 5. And many people who work in these corporations, they know that if you don't move the mouse on the computer, the screen switches off. And this can sometimes be detected by the managers, right? And it can lead you to get into trouble. I've literally heard of people downloading apps or buying tools for their mouse pad so that it moves the mouse every 10 minutes or so that the screen doesn't switch off. Also that they can go and do whatever they want whilst their colleagues pick up the work that they left and then they get paid for doing nothing. SubhanAllah. And so this example would definitely be an example of cheating. Because this person, he was employed to do certain work and he's deceived the employers into thinking he's doing the work, and he's made his colleagues work harder to fill the gap that he's left, which are all different types of harm. And so that's why this would be cheating as well. Another example, and it'll be the last example we'll mention of the dunya aspect, is that you might have a close friend, okay? And he comes to you or she comes to you seeking advice. And they tell you that they're interested in moving to a different country, or they're interested in marrying someone that lives far away, or they're interested in accepting a job offer or a university offer that's far, far away. And so you advise them not to go or not to marry or not to accept the offer because you know that this move is something that will lead them to be far away from you and you'll become lonely. You know that this is what's best for them and that you should advise them to do it, but you advise them the opposite because you don't want to feel lonely without them and you don't want to lose them. So you conceal this benefit, which leads to their harm in the long run. And so this is an example of cheating as well, which I have personally seen in others in my life, subhanAllah. So do you see how all of these examples, they have a harm attached to them? This is a really important point to mention, because if there's no harm attached to the situation, then this wouldn't be classed as the disease of cheating. A lot of people, when they play games with their friends, right, and their friends cheat, they say, "Hey, man ghashana falaysa minna." Whoever cheats us is not of us, right? You know, when you're playing a game with your friends and stuff like that, technically speaking, because there's no harm attached to the situation, maybe you cheat to make your friends laugh or you cheat to win the game and it's like a harmless kind of cheating. This is not the disease because there's no harm attached. But know that just because this is technically okay, it's not best practice, because the Prophet ﷺ, he only ever told the truth, even if he was joking. So likewise, you should strive to avoid lying or deceiving, even if there's no harm attached to it whatsoever, because that is how the Prophet ﷺ would have been as well. But with everything that I've said, these examples that I've given are examples of cheating in matters to do with the dunya. And so now let's move on to examples to cheating about matters to do with the deen. Okay? An example, which is very common, and I feel so strongly about this, okay? It's a very upsetting example, is to place yourself in positions of Islamic authority when you know deep down you are not qualified to do so. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us from this. This type of cheating is genuinely one of the biggest tragedies that the ummah has faced in today's day and age, especially with social media. Many are the people who put on a bright white thobe like me, and they put a pen in the pocket here, and they grow their beard all the way down here, and they put a kufiya on their heads like this. And then they create social media accounts and they make videos saying, this is halal, this is haram, this is bid'ah, this is shirk. And they have no idea what they're talking about. Wallahi, this is so incredibly dangerous. If only these people were to reflect on the verse where Allah says, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَا تَصِفُ أَلْسِنَتُكُمُ الْكَذِبَ هَذَا حَلَالٌ وَهَذَا حَرَامٌ لِتَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَفْتَرُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ لَا يُفْلِحُونَ. Do not falsely say with your tongues, this is halal, this is haram, only fabricating lies against Allah, because those who fabricate lies against Allah, they will never ever succeed. Wallahi, this type of cheating is not just harming one person. Wallahi, it's harming the entire ummah. How many people have been misguided by these people's lies just because of a harmless video they see as harmless? How many times have Muslims looked down on other Muslims because of their wrong teachings? How many times have non-Muslims now perceived Islam as bad because of their misguidance? When the world sees these people speaking in a serious tone and they say, it's haram for women to wear jackets because they're too tight. It's haram for men and women to go to Islamic lectures in the same hall. Or when they make stupid videos saying, don't listen to so-and-so, don't listen to that person, don't listen to this so-called sheikh, he's pretending to be a sheikh, when he himself has done nothing in terms of studies. Wallahi, it hurts the masses. What image of Islam are you giving to people? People who have low iman, they're going to be pushed away. People who are interested in Islam, they're going to run away. People who once benefited from someone who actually has qualifications, they're now going to stop listening to that person because of your ignorance, because of your lies. And that's why this type of cheating is by far the worst type of cheating. So these people need to learn to stay in their lane and know when to speak and when not to speak. Otherwise, the consequences are going to be very severe for them. And that's the first example of cheating in matters to do with the deen. And you're going to realize in the cures that this is actually a sign of hypocrisy. When you see people like this, it's a sign of their hypocrisy. We'll talk about it, inshallah. Another example, which is more common, more relatable to all of us, because not all of us are on social media, is when you see a friend or someone that you love committing a sin that you deep down are okay with because you want to do it as well. Maybe there's a place that your friend wants to go that has a lot of haram. Let's say it's a shisha shop, for example, and there's loud club music and there's free mixing and all sorts of bad stuff. And deep down, you've always wanted to go there. And so you stay quiet instead of advising them so that you can join them in that sin. This would be cheating, because you conceal the harm by remaining quiet to the point where you both committed a sin at the end of it. You see, so this is cheating in matters to do with the deen. So hopefully with these two examples, you now have a good idea what I'm trying to say, okay? So to summarize, the disease of al-ghish, cheating, is when you hide a harm or a defect from someone, either in matters to do with the deen or in matters to do with the dunya. And it doesn't matter how you do this hiding. That could be through lying, could be through deceiving, could be through beautifying a false benefit. All of these things, it doesn't matter. The point is that when you hide something that has a harm attached to it, this is the disease that we're talking about, okay? So now we are ready to go into the cures, and there are two of them. The first cure is to realize that having this disease of cheating is a sign of you being a hypocrite, which I just mentioned right now. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, "Min alamatil munafiqi thalatha." Among the signs of a hypocrite are three, even if he fasts and he prays and he claims to be a Muslim, as the Prophet ﷺ said. There are three signs of a hypocrite. Number one, when he speaks, he lies. Number two, when he promises, he breaks his promise. Number three, when he is trusted, he betrays. And if you just reflect a little bit, you'll realize that these three signs are all different forms of deception. Giving promises and breaking them, promising people and betraying them, telling people things and lying to them. These are all different forms of deception. And by now you'll have realized that this disease of cheating is also all about deception. So if you have this disease of cheating, it should ring alarm bells in your mind that, hey, I might be a hypocrite. And to be honest, this should terrify you, because hypocrisy leads to the worst of punishments. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ فِي الدَّرْكِ الْأَسْفَلِ مِنَ النَّارِ. Surely the hypocrites will be in the lowest depths of the hellfire, meaning that they have the worst of punishments. But wait, hang on a second. What if I'm a Muslim, but I break promises every now and again, I lie every now and then, and I have this disease of cheating as well? Does that mean I'm going to be thrown into the lowest depths of hellfire? I'm still a Muslim, right? Now, this is where I want you guys to pay attention, because I want to give you deep understanding on the topic. There are two types of hypocrisy. Okay? This is going to be really important for you guys to remember. Two types of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy of the actions and hypocrisy of your beliefs. Hypocrisy of your actions is the lying, the breaking promises, the betraying, the disease of ghish. These are all hypocrisy of the actions. This type of hypocrisy is a sin. Pay attention, this is a sin, okay? As for hypocrisy of your beliefs, this is when you claim to be a Muslim and you have conviction in Allah, but deep down you know you're lying. This type of hypocrisy is kufr, is disbelief, and this is the thing that's going to land you in the depths of the hellfire. Now, here's the main point that brings all of this together. When you get used to living life with hypocrisy of the actions, meaning you live life with the disease of cheating and you leave it untreated, and you become engrossed in hypocrisy of the actions, essentially, it makes it easier and easier and easier to eventually slip into the hypocrisy of your beliefs without you even realizing. One leads to the other. And so this terrifying reality should be enough to make you wake up and realize that if I don't treat this disease right now, it's going to make me very easily slip into hypocrisy of the belief, which will land me into the harshest levels of the hellfire forever. And so your cure is to reflect on everything that I've said. Really reflect on it every single day for an entire month. And inshallah, your mindset will shift and the disease will leave your heart. And if you can even memorize what I've said here about this hypocrisy, the hadith that I mentioned, the verse I mentioned about the punishment of it, this will be better for you as well. So that's the first cure. The second cure is to realize just how destructive the disease of cheating is, not just for your akhirah, but also for your dunya. Obviously, the akhirah, if you have this disease, it will lead you to the lowest depths of the hellfire if you leave it untreated. But it also affects your dunya. How many times has cheating damaged friendships? How many times has cheating destroyed trust in marriage? How many times has cheating harmed other people, especially the entire ummah, as we mentioned? Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you think that an ummah that is plagued with the disease of cheating will ever unite? Do you think that the Muslims will ever hold hands with each other as family and unite if we're used to deceiving each other? Absolutely not. All of this cheating contributes to the disunity of the ummah. And disunity is what is making us weak. It's the very reason why we're seeing global issues happening to the Muslims from the east to the west. How do I know this? Because Allah says in the Quran, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Obey Allah and His Messenger and do not dispute with each other. Why? So that you do not fail or lose your strength, become weak essentially. Allah is saying here, if you don't unite, then you're going to lose your strength, you're going to become weak. And cheating is the thing that's going to stop us from uniting. So it's literally a parasite that is preventing us from gaining our strength back. And it's affecting the entire ummah. That's why whenever you open the news, you always see the Muslims are downtrodden. You always see that. East, west, everywhere. And I don't even need to mention the things that are happening today for you to know this. And so this should make you also wake up. It should make you ask the question, maybe I'm the problem, right? shouldn't I look into myself first before I start saying this problem, that problem? Maybe I'm the problem. And cheating is definitely one of those parasites, one of those things that's preventing this disunity. And so reflecting on this cure and realizing that your disease of cheating isn't just ruining your relationships directly, but it's also directly impacting the health of the ummah. Reflecting on that should be enough to make you realize that you need to do something about it. And this kind of feeling of, regret, if you like, is something that's enough, inshallah, to get rid of that disease from your heart. And it'll make you question yourself again whenever you go to cheat someone in the future. So again, reflect on this cure every single day for a month straight. And as always, it would be better to memorize everything that I've mentioned here so that it comes to your mind next time you plan on cheating, inshallah ta'ala.